So there is a lot of things that I wanted to discuss when it comes to Barcelona as I pull up my trusty article that I pulled. Poor season, lost in Champions League, lost La Liga, especially for a team that has been so dominant, lost out in the Champions League last year, so that's probably still a problem for them, but of course they won La Liga. But there's been clear problems highlighted this year. The first one, of course, as we know, Luis Enrique heads for the exit. So they're going to have to adjust to a new manager, going to have to adjust to a new way of things moving forward. But they already highlighted, I think that what has already been highlighted is that there needs to be a couple of replacements. Now, it's not a complete clear out with what we have mentioned with some other teams. They have still the best front three when they're on their day in the world. They still have arguably one of the best defensive midfielders in the world. They still have arguably one of the best centre backs in the world in Gerard Piqué when he's playing well. They need a fullback, an out-and-out right back. Sergio Roberto is a talented prospect for the future. He's not a fullback. That's been highlighted this season. He sold Dani Alves too early. The only way to right that wrong, you're not going to get Dani Alves back. He had a great season at Juventus. I think they're going to splash the cash on Hector Bellerin. I think Bellerin had a poor season at Arsenal this year, but he's got all the attributes that you need to be able to work into a Barcelona style of system. You have to be defensively sound, of course. You have to be rapid, like so quick. And he is arguably one of the fastest fullbacks in the world. When he was on his day for Arsenal, he was one of the standout fullbacks in Europe. So I think that they're going to get someone who they like to invest in, a youthful player who is not yet the full package, and they can adjust and make him the full package with Hector Bellerin on one side and probably still Jordi Alba, who's, I think, despite not the best season either, is still going to be there to do a job for them. So I think that's easily one signing. The next signing they need to make, Jesse, it's been rumoured, and it's going to be a very, very tough one for them to even convince, is Marco Verratti.
So they're going to be, would they be able to actually get, well, of course they'll be able to get him. They're in Barcelona. My point is, how do they get him in?
It's
lots of money?
It's a lot of money. Last year, despite them having a more...
Why would PSG get rid of him?
Well, it's not about PSG getting rid of him. It would be up to Marco Verratti. I think Marco Verratti, this is going to probably piss off a lot of PSG fans. I think Marco Verratti would be very silly if he didn't take the move to Barcelona if they wanted him. And the reason I say that is, yeah, PSG have went strength to strength. PSG smacked 4 past Barcelona. PSG came up against a weakened Barcelona and still lost. Aubameyang's a great player to bring in. They've got so much talent in that team, and they're looking good. If they bring in other players, I'm like, Jesus, this is going to be a dominant team. But I got to immediately put you right up there. Who are you going to compete with? The best in the world is Real Madrid. The gap between PSG and Real Madrid is still much larger than the gap between Real Madrid and Barcelona. And I rate Marco Verratti so highly that I think he closes that gap. I think he plays a Luka Modric role in Barcelona's team. I think that he takes Rakitic's position as the most dominant player when Iniesta is in form and still there. But Rakitic and Verratti could still play together. Verratti. It's amazing how your mind does that.
That's unbelievable.
Like, how does it just immediately make that switch?
I like Verratti, though. That could be a nice combo. Nice little duo in the midfield.
He's the engine that also has creative ability, that also proved in the first leg against Barcelona how detrimental he can be to that team. Just everywhere, like, again, just he's got parts of his game that's like an N'Golo Kante. That's how good Kante is, by the way, when you're comparing Verratti's game, who was arguably one of the biggest.
You've been high on Kante for 2 years, two straight years. Man.
He is. Like, he's got parts of his game, he's anticipation, he hunts the ball down, but he's so calm on the ball in possession. And I think that he could fit into Barcelona's system the way that Modric has fit into Real Madrid's system. Because when Modric was brought in, he wasn't exactly, people didn't think, oh, it's the typical Real Madrid player. He's going to play it. But he's just molded himself into being the best midfielder in the world.
What's a typical Barcelona player? I know it's not Real Madrid. I know you said it was just.
It's a tough question, but when you look at the midfielders, even dating past the glory era of Xavi and Iniesta, Guardiola was there. Like, he played that role where you have to be sound on the ball, you have to buy into the system, and you have to be hardworking. Many people think that Iniesta and Xavi, because they're so talented, didn't work hard. Just watch the positioning of Xavi and watch the way that they work as a pack of 3 when they're at their best. I always discuss this. They suffocate you, like when they don't have the ball. Verratti will easily do that, and he's also a very, very talented and smart player. He's the future of Italy. I think that although there's probably a lot of Barcelona fans out there that just are holding on to the glory combination of Busquets, Iniesta, and of course Rakitic did a great job of fitting himself into that system. Last year proved that there's a new wave of a midfield trio that's moving forward that has strength in Casemiro, has such talent in Luka Modric, and has the IQ of a scientist in Toni Kroos on the field. So
the
in order to
IQ of a
compete,
Scientologist. That's a kid.
Very true. But the last point, because I don't want to focus just on Verratti, is Dembele. So if you remember last year, Dembele was actually on the radar of Barcelona, and then he decided to move to Borussia Dortmund. But Dortmund, again, I'm sorry, Dortmund fans, it's going to be a tough summer for
you. You got to stop saying it, man. They're just going to get more. Dembele is so young. He's 20.
Yeah, he's a baby in terms. He's not as young as the other Dembele who is at Glasgow Celtic, of course, a 13-year-old that played in the under-21 game, who, by the way, was on Barcelona's radar at one point as well.
Francis has official Celtic pants. Can I say that?
Yeah, well, the courtesy of my brother grew out of them. All right, Celtic don't hold him accountable. He grew out of them, and I had to wear them. Okay.